right, Aquarius. Here's your reading for the month of February. This will be your February 2026 tarot reading. So look at that's almost like a whoosh, like a giant black and tan cow. A tisket or tasket is significant. This is your collective reading, your love tarot reading. If you're interested in a reading from me or an astrological interpretation or a coaching session, you could reach out to me at ritayanez.com. Let's see what we get here. Somebody's name is Maxine. I heard that before I even, I was like, that was in the channeling stage. Capricorn's remote viewing, well, it was a channeling session, but it turned into remote viewing and it was a lot. So let's see. I'm trying a few different things to see how much information I could get for you without having to go through too much work. But for an entire month, if these videos are about an hour long, I think that's good because there should be something here for everybody. There's something here for everybody. Somebody, did I say this was for Aquarius or did I say Capricorn? A Capricorn is significant to you, Aquarius. You are an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or significant placement, including stellium. You could be an Aquarius, ascendant, descendant. You could have a midheaven in Aquarius. Any significant placement, you could accidentally reach this message, and there will be something here for you. That's the way that the Holy Spirit works. Something's going on here with Capricorn. Capricorn is significant to you. 1937 is significant to you or could be significant to you or someone involved. And I'm trying to see where we're starting with this. Maxine is significant. Somebody wants you to get closer or wants to get closer to you. Your skin is significant. There's an issue with somebody's skin health. This skin health is not an issue that is directly related to the health of your skin, but it is a result or a consequence of another issue. This could be a health issue. This could be a recreational drug related issue. Somebody needs to really watch this because there's an issue also with the potential of something that appears to be jaundice, but it is not. This is not jaundice. I'm not a medical doctor, and if you can't tell, there's something really wrong with you that I cannot coach you through. All right, let's get past this. I think we're going to go to the curiosity before we go to the romance angels. Because Aquarius, I think your frustration is obvious. Oh my gosh. Well, before we even get going, somebody's expecting. That could be you or somebody close to you, but somebody is expecting, quite obviously. Now I am going to read the message, even though I don't like to read a bunch of things to you because I want to entertain you with these other things that I am doing, and you can read on your own. A new life is forming, ready or not. This changes the vibe, the stakes, and the whole storyline. Somebody is expecting, you are expecting, somebody close to you is expecting, and we got this card in the Capricorn reading. And again, you have some tie to a Capricorn. There's something going on that ties you to a Capricorn. We've got the inner turmoil. We've got this person that looks like he could be, two people morphing into one or one person splitting into two. They look quite different. The tattoos are not symmetrical here. You could have tattoos. Somebody has tattoos. I really don't care about tattoos unless they mean something to you. They mean nothing to me. I will admire them on you. I don't know anything other than this person's tattoos are not symmetrical. These are two different people. They have two different haircuts. They've got two different things going on. There's two competing sides to things. You could be dealing with somebody, either you, hopefully it's not the person expecting. There could be a person, but let's face it, expecting is a hormonal party. Okay. I have done this 3 times myself and can tell you that, I was lucky that it was easy for me in that sense. Of course you could drop a hat pin and I would cry. But, I've heard of people really being unstable. I know somebody who actually was so dangerous that my uncle had to move out of the house the 2 times that she was expecting because, she was having problems. She's still alive, but has some serious issues. Okay, now this card came out in the reverse and it really didn't pop out. It's more or less forced its way out. Somebody's trying to force their way out. This is a toxic ties card. So we've got something here about this isn't a victim villain villain. I hope you enjoy the film. because East Wing. Okay, so somebody could, I don't think that, I think I'm talking to somebody who's not a Trump supporter. It's never about politics. It's about just like stating the obvious. And, so many realities are being overlooked. People just don't know. Never mind. Let's not get into that. Somebody's an immigrant. Somebody could be an obvious immigrant. Somebody doesn't have command of the English language. Somebody's got very limited command of the English language, something there because I read that wrong, but I immediately went into my parody of Melania Trump, who quite obviously has difficulty with the English language and is not very fluent. Okay, so villain. The villain story is a messy entanglement where both sides are contributing to the destruction. I call for unity. Does anybody else want the? Okay, so somebody here, there's a toxic tie. It was in reverse with this curiosity. So I think that somebody is really breaking through the toxicity or seeing the toxicity for what it is. You know that this looks like a DNA strand. And if you look at this, I was talking earlier about that does look like a DNA strand. Somebody's issues could be genetic here. There could be a genetic issue. Somebody could be contemplating whether or not some health issues are geriatric in nature. No, they are not specifically geriatric in nature. These could be some genetic issues that were always there that were going to show up at some point. All right, somebody's noticing this is DNA, this is RNA, this is molecular. Here we go again. Somebody's a freaking scientist. Okay, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole unless we see more, or I will start to draw too near that other reading, the one for Capricorn. Let's take this one because it kind of bottomed out. Somebody's bottoming out. Fat bottom girls make the world go round. I don't know why that's important to you. Back together and doing the work. Okay, so there could be, some of you, it could actually be about you. For others, you're watching this play out with some friends or somewhere else in your family. And remember, seventh house issues just could be about other people. It could be about your job. It could be about something else entirely. This could be about something that happened in the past. This might not have happened to you at all. This segment of the reading may not be yours. But so you're back together. And here it says the honeymoon round 2 has begun. But the real tea is in how long it will last. So some of you could be worried that, you could be dealing with somebody who's either expecting or is hormonal, somebody who is chemically, there's somebody unbalanced here in the mix because definitely, obviously being pregnant, that's a difficult balance as it is. But, this doesn't have to be the person who's expecting. This just could be somebody else. And there could be something genetic, a component here, but everything is like excuses because with inner turmoil, there could be a person that's making some kind of an imbalance, some kind of an excuse, or they're hanging their hat on that, or they want to die on that hill, or I don't know what that is because the world isn't perfect, but it is a circle. Okay. So got back together and doing the work. So growth is happening behind the scenes, healing patterns, owning truth, and unlearning survival mode. So maybe some people, maybe you have been having some issues or there were issues in your relationship in the past and now you're back together and you're both doing the work and dealing with the real issue that, you got to grow up and you got to face the reality. Again, the world is not perfect, but it is a circle. What you do to someone else will come back to you. So we want to treat each other fairly. Again, I'm really looking at this expectant card. Somebody's expecting it. It doesn't have to be a baby. It could be a project. It can be an idea. Somebody's mind is splitting in two. Somebody could be having cardiovascular issues. Somebody could be experiencing headaches. That head is really illuminated. That is, of course, the crown chakra, but I see also the heart chakra, the throat chakra. There seems to be a whole lot of realignment and download happening. This could be you. This could be somebody else. Toxic ties in reverse, back together doing the work. Holy Spirit, holy angels, anything else here that we're opening up with any of these hints for Aquarius? I love you, Aquarius. Some of you have had some issues with your head. Now, you also have had some issues with a drama queen, drama queen in your life, just somebody who cannot get it together, has to make a mountain out of a molehill, that doesn't know how to deal with things, that wants to wear the crown, but doesn't want to do the work associated because everybody knows if you think about Queen Elizabeth, heavy is the head that wears that crown. It was not all about glamour and glitz. She had to get her country through significant difficulties and challenges. Forget about all the rest of the things that could go with this conversation. I'm just talking about the job she had to do. If you want to be the queen, you will wear the crown. You could have been dealing with somebody who's a drama queen. God bless it. Okay, so don't get pulled into the drama. If peace showed up, they'd start a fight out of boredom. This is somebody who's looking right at that candle doing the work. It's somebody who resents doing the work. Somebody's resentful of doing the work. Well, I'm sorry. Everybody has to do the work one way or another. We cannot escape the work. The only escape from this life is death. Face it. All right, that's what we have to deal with. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who's in a position of authority. We will see when we get to the tarot card readings. This person could have freaking blue hair in the back together card. You're there, holding on to somebody with blue hair. You do what you want to do. I've got black hair. I have no desire to dye it blue. Lord, okay, and here I am spilling the tea. All right, let's not unfairly look at all of them. Spilled the tea. Gossip is currency, and someone just cashed in. When the tea's this hot, you better believe it's being passed around. So something about this, maybe somebody wanted some element that's clandestine of this situation to be brought to the light. Sometimes that's the only way for things to get healed and for people to do the work is to bring the tea out and serve it to everyone, if you will. And I suggest it. Oh, and look let's just get this one too. Let's just take it because it wants to be taken there. Curated image. Okay, so somebody just wanted everything to look a certain way. Sorry, it's real world. This is real life. This is real world. This is life. This is East Wing. This is not East Wing ballroom. Okay, so now we've got a curated image. Every post is polished, every angle calculated. Don't get distracted by the highlights reel. Okay? Somebody has this desire for it to look a certain way. Well, I'm sorry, even if you want things to look a certain way, you've got to go through the work. You've got to do the work. You've got to earn the money. You've got to be able to make things what they are. But the thing is, why are people worried about images? Somebody here, maybe this could be somebody position of authority. This is a queen. It doesn't say what kind of queen because of course these are not tarot cards. Let's just get one or two more to see what's up with this. But this could be what's really weighing on your mind, Aquarius. It's just maybe that you've got to deal with some people. You could be the candle in the darkness or the candle in the wind. Somebody's name could be Norma Jean. Somebody could be Diana. Somebody could think that they're a princess, but they're not. Okay, let's see. Because even Marilyn Monroe, somebody's name could be Marilyn, somebody's name could be Monroe. M's are significant, M&M's are significant. Being recalled by the FDA is significant, isn't it? All right. Food and Drug Administration is significant. Those of you that have high-level jobs is significant. Somebody works in the media. Okay, so it just could be that, we have to remember that even Norma Jean Baker, also known as Marilyn Monroe, she was an extremely hard worker. Even if her career didn't turn out the way that she wanted it to. I mean, look she's loved for all eternity, but, at the time, it was a different time. It was a different era, the things that people had to go through. I mean, she famously warned others of what could happen to them, that if they wanted to work, there were things that they were going to have to do. They were going to have to be real nice. And there were people, I believe one of them was Joan Collins, that was basically like, yeah, won't be me. Joan Collins, somebody's name could be Joan, somebody's name could be Collins. Maxine, I still don't know where to place Maxine, but Maxine came out twice earlier when I was doing the channeled remote viewing part of it. I don't always do that. I just do whatever I want to do. Maybe somebody doesn't like the fact that you're going to do whatever you need to do and they can do whatever they want to do. But when you're a dynamic duo, you do that crap together, okay? Captain and Tennille is significant. Tie a yellow ribbon round. Okay, so Tony Orlando and Dawn, Orlando, Florida is significant. The Dawn is significant. Somebody's name could be Dawn. Somebody's name could be Tony, Orlando, Florida, or just Florida. Universal Studios could be significant just to work with me. All right, one more let's just see what this is. All right. Any last messages here from curiosity? Yes. Live and learn. Okay. So here we have almost like an entire activation. This card says mistakes were made, but what matters is what's being done differently now. So hopefully in this situation, whether it's a situationship, whether a relationship, this could be siblings, this could be partners, this could be business partners. This looks pretty damn romantic to me. In whatever way this is significant. Now, if you don't have a significant relationship, this could have to do with your siblings. Maybe you've got a sibling who has blue hair. Maybe you've got somebody who has children who's a sibling and you don't understand each other. Or maybe you don't even approve of their lifestyle. You don't have to. Oh boy, I don't want to think of this particular video or I'm going to laugh. I will not think of the video or I'm going to laugh. I will not think of this. All right. All right. Let's close this up because I don't want to see anything else. So everything looks good here, Aquarius. I don't see any extreme drama. If some of you have experienced some drama, then you know what that drama is. And hopefully it is resolved because it says that it's being worked on actively. So let's go to the romance angels. So you don't have to be looking at this in terms of romance. You can be like, no, my relationship's perfectly fine here, Rita. Okay, but romance angels could be talking about anybody's romance. If you have children, it could be their romance. If you don't have a romance and you don't want a romance, it could be about the person that you're watching out your apartment window. I don't know, but this would be of some significance. Flip it, switch it, reverse it. Millie Bobby Brown before I could even say Missy Elliott. Somebody who looks much older than they are is significant. Millie Bobby Brown has always looked like a 30-year-old housewife when she was about 13. It's just like a look on her face, just kind of a jaded look. Somebody looks jaded, somebody's bored. Somebody's name could be Millie, Bobby, or the name Brown could be significant. All right, so let's see what's going on here. All right, let's see. Do we have any romantic cues for you? Aquarius, I'm not getting any weird feelings. I just wish I knew who Maxine is and why I needed to say that. I actually got it twice. I literally heard it twice. Okay, so we've got getting to know each other. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Okay, so we've got, as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So for those of you that don't have a relationship at all, you could be coming into a relationship and getting to know each other. Somebody near you, around you, somebody's getting to know you. This could be somebody that you work with. This could be somebody that, maybe this is an Uber driver. Somebody's telling stories. Somebody's entertaining others with their stories. Somebody, pink and blue. So I don't know male or female who's coming in for you. But that's good because there could be somebody new. Now, remember, don't get if you're a fatalist and there's never going to be anybody for me. Okay, then have that if you wish. All right. This would be for people that are open to the possibility that could happen. All right. If you get too scientific and, maybe that's why I was getting the science and the DNA and the RNA all over again and, metabolic studies, protein studies, if somebody works at a hospital. So if you want to really just stick that, you go ahead and do that. The rest of us are going to have some fun. If you like, you can step over to the other side of the room. Okay, Aquarius? Because you got to get out of your head sometimes. Live and learn. Live and let live. Levi? Somebody's name could be Levi. A levy is significant. All right. Well, there we have another one. It was in the reverse, but you know how I feel about that. Keeping an open mind. Yeah, you need to keep an open mind. Okay, Aquarius. So keep an open mind. Now, for those of you that are interested in a relationship, you've got to be hopeful in the very least. Okay, so your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Doesn't that sound like something that Aquarius would need to deal with? Okay, for those of you that are in a committed, established relationship that is moving along quite well, this part probably won't apply to you because it's just really leaning heavily toward, Aquarius. Aquarius that may say they want a relationship, but they're like, well, but one is never coming in anyway. Oh, okay. All right, Debbie. Somebody's name could be Debbie. And we've got free yourself. Yes, please. Free yourself from the prison of your mind and or horn there, okay? It's time to take back control of your life. Okay, so you need to understand that you are not like this. I almost said Capricorn again. A Capricorn is going to be significant to you. But you see, this unicorn isn't stuck at all. It just needs to stand up and step over. Free yourself. Free yourself. All right, let's see. Let's get a few more because I really feel that the one who's resistant to new relationship is actually you, though you'll never admit it. Okay, so let's keep looking for Aquarius here. And then we'll see what else pops up. But this is a romance reading, quite obviously. So other things may pop up. I can't control it. Woohoo! Okay. Deceptions, people wearing masks. So just make sure that you're aware that it is up to you to know whether or not you swipe. I don't know. How do people do it these days? They swipe around on an app, and I think that's completely dangerous and out of control. And I don't think it's a good idea at all. Okay. But people out there, you have to figure out then very carefully who is who, because people literally get hurt because they're meeting people that they don't know. And it can be just as scary for males and females, especially you younger people, that I know that you're invincible. And we know that you know it all. Of course, we're going to support you in this. But my job is also to remind you to be careful. I'm not going to take well, yes, I am. So we've got honeymoon in reverse. Let's just go with this. Love yourself first in reverse. Some of you may jump into relationships and say that you're being cautious, and all of a sudden you lose yourself, and you will have to learn that you need to put yourself first so that you can put the next person first as well. If you don't value yourself, if you don't respect yourself and your time and your boundaries, you will not be able to do the same for another person because you will be the overgiver. Okay. Wedding in reverse. Okay. So there are some people that relationship could be a little bit rocky, but this could just be simply indicating that the next relationship that's coming into you, it's not necessarily, don't think that this is going to be the picket fence and the carriage and the baby. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes a baby in the baby carriage. Okay. When I was a kid, that's the way it worked. Nowadays, I don't know. That people are born in test tubes. I'm not sure what happens with people, and nobody knows what they're doing. And Elon Musk is implanting himself into other people all the time. So let's move quite along. Let's go to, let's see. I don't feel like it needs to be a heavy deck at all, but I feel like I'm walking like an Egyptian. Okay, so let's go. Let's tell a story with Miss Cleo's deck. All right. Is Miss Cleo still alive? I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up and see what happened to her. All right. So, Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, let's tell a story with these pieces of paper that do nothing on their own. For those of you that are wondering, of course, I'm a Christian. I am not open to criticism from anybody. There's only one person that actually would be concerned with my soul, and it's my son. That's all I'm going to say. It's either these pieces of paper or I make pieces of paper and I tell you a story that way. All right, let's see. We still didn't get any information about Maxine. I still don't know what's going on with that. But take it as you will. We're going to take it as we do. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck, what you don't see coming is your own card here, because the King of Swords is you. The King of Swords would be an air sign. That would be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And I was supposed to put that down, and I didn't. Huh. All right. Let me see where my mind is going with this. I was supposed to put that. No, I wasn't supposed to put that down because that was the bottom of the deck. All right. Something here is different. Something here is distracting me. Someone here is distracted or trying to remain focused. Someone here is trying to shut out the naysayers and, establish boundaries. You have to make people respect you, like by literally, if they won't respect you, then don't communicate with them. It's okay for people to have opinions, but it's not okay for people to not allow you to have your opinions or to live your life. All right, Aquarius, you need to give that same to others. Like I said earlier at the beginning, when we were looking at the oracles, it could be that if this isn't a love relationship, that you're being very judgmental on a sibling, a relative, or somebody else like that. All right, Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, here we go. The ROTC is significant. The Army is significant. ROTC. Whoa. Ace of Cups, and it was kind of sideways. There's a challenge to it, wants to challenge it. The Ace of Cups is a new beginning. An Egyptian aunt could be significant here. You know, this reminds me that this card could be about Bastet because this looks very much like a claw. I'll have to look that up and see if there's any indication. But, you know, this is kind of like an orange hand. The color orange could be significant, you know, but this looks very claw-like. I don't know if the Egyptian god or goddess, I don't know, she's a goddess, Bastet, is significant here, but we do have the Egyptian ankh was about can't say it, fertility, about protection, guidance. Very, very nice. And the Knight of Coins is the challenge to it. And even though it did come out as a challenge just for me to remember the position, somebody needs to try a new position. All right. So we have the Knight of Coins is challenge there to the Ace of Cups, to the new beginning, to the new emotional beginning. You know, some of you could have a new emotional business or a business that relates to the heart and to the heart center, the heart chakra, the emotions. Maybe somebody's working with people that are emotionally unbalanced. There's an imbalance or something going on with somebody there. Maybe that's the kind of line of work you do. Seventh house being what it is. The Eye of Horus is significant. Scarabs are significant. So are dung beetles, and somebody could live near a river. All right, let's see. So the Knight of Pentacles has taken a very long time to bring an offer of protection to somebody, but we don't see who it is that is receiving the offer. The Knight has just finally arrived, which in the traditional tarot art, the Knight is on his way, but very slow, very slow. The Knight of Coins is the Knight of Pentacles and is very slow, is very pretty much not moving. But is dependable nonetheless. So an offer arrives, or you are feeling like you just don't want to make an offer to somebody, or you feel like the offer is never going to arrive. So how can I have a new beginning in relationships, even though I'm telling you that it will come? Now we have the King of Swords again. So there is your card, and that's at the foundation because male or female, you're feeling very King Tut-like, you're feeling very Ramses-like, and you are standing in your truth, but you're also looking up to the heavens and almost looking in supplication. In the fading influence, I couldn't even say that. In the fading influence, we have the Three of Coins. And, you know, so these two are kind of paying homage, almost like the Hierophant card in other decks. But this is about working together. This is a card of the apprentice, or in the recent past or in recent history, what's passing away now is like you felt that you were beneath others and that somebody else held the power. But what you don't realize is that you have got the power, that you hold the power now because that is in the past. And it's not just you, it's been other people. We have two other people there that are the kind of apprentices. Somebody could be a journeyman, for example. And we have the Two of Wands in reverse for the crowning influence over here. So for the crowning influence, we're talking about a situation where somebody has to make a decision, hasn't made a decision, or there are no decisions or choices that can be taken or made that make sense. You know, this person is almost like attempting to part the Red Sea, but they're looking at the sky. There is no Red Sea. They're on the cliff, similar to the Fool card. So trying to begin something new, but having to balance two things at the same time. Do I go left of the river? Do I go right of the river? The Euphrates River could be significant. The Nile River could be significant. Names that sound like that could be significant. Egyptology could be significant to you. Somebody could literally be an analyst. Somebody could be a coder. Somebody could be an interpreter. Somebody could study hieroglyphs. All right. So near future, we have the Eight of Cups. This is great. And again, here we have someone looking to the Eye of Horus. Okay. And Horus actually has two eyes, or not two eyes, but the Eye of Horus, is Eye of Horus left eye? Hang on, let's get something here. Let me double check this because I actually made a note of this recently. Oh, I may not have it here. Did I not? Yeah, no, I'd have to. I don't know if that's open, and I don't want to check right now, but I'll check on it later, and then I'll make a note of it for a later date. But I believe the Eye of Horus is the left eye, because then the Eye of Ra, I believe, is the right eye. Anyway, but here he is kind of in meditation with the Eight Cups and the incense and focusing on the Eye of Horus, knowing that you're protected, but definitely going on a journey. And this journey could be internal because we don't see the figure getting up and walking away to do this meditation or to transmute the situation. But in the near future, you are walking away from something, and it could just be a state of mind knowing that you are protected by the divine. Insert deity here, okay? Now, for the current environment and what is happening in it, what does it look like at this time? We're going to take the two that came out because here we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. Yeah, somebody's trying to free themselves from the prison of their mind. That's what they're actively doing. It's like I'm tired of living in a self-imposed cage. This is like a self-imposed limitation. I'm telling myself that I'm trapped. I'm telling myself that I can't make a decision like the Two of Wands, the Two of Staves over there. I'm telling myself that I could only remain in this tiny little box, almost like sleeping on a bed that's too small for you. It's just going to limit you in every way. This person is trying really hard to free themselves from the prison of their mind. And we also have the Ten of Cups in reverse because this person has found no satisfaction in this situation, that the more rigid they have become in their thinking, the more rigid and unsatisfying the world of emotions has become. There's no unity, there's no bond here. You know, it's almost like as if the only thing that's keeping these people together and in a state of balance anyway is by taking these things that look like flamingos and freaking punishing them to the pilaster, you know, lashing them to something that's holding up the cups. How is that? So is that for appearances? That's more like keeping up with the Joneses. You need to find your own drum and beat it. All right? Find your own drum and beat it. Good, because this means that that's what you're doing or somebody around you is doing, is that you have to understand that the answers are within you. You are the one, Neo. One, Neo. The matrix is significant. Somebody understands matrixing. Coding, again, is significant, but this has more to do with understanding that the prison is in the mind. All right? And that you can do anything that you put your mind to. All right? Of course, there's always going to be certain limitations, but this isn't going to be a dissertation. Somebody's writing a dissertation. Okay. Somebody could be writing a thesis. Somebody could be wrapping up their studies. Somebody could be literally getting ready to end something. Here it says it's almost over, that it should be over, and yet it is not over. And we have the World. So a cycle is ending, and you could be ending that cycle. I was talking about dissertation, thesis. You know, we could be talking about higher education or need to get more education. World in reverse, somebody's education is not yet complete. They might need more education. Somebody might need to actually bear down and get more of what they need, and or end a cycle that is needing to be closed before moving on. This could be with the Eight of Swords in reverse, walking away from a job, or the job walks away from you because there is no more prison. You are free to go. And it is of the mind, it is of the thoughts, it is of the words, it is of the communication. It could be of the coding, it could be of the matrix itself. Ten of Cups in reverse, of course, means that it could be unstable in a feeling sense, but we don't have pentacles right here. So it's almost like, okay, well, naturally this has ended, but you are neither less stable or more stable. Either way, it was like a draw. It wouldn't have been any better or any worse anyway. That there was some stagnancy here, and the world needs to solve this by ending the cycle. Cycles are ending. There's something about an 84-year cycle. Pluto could be significant. We could have some big changes that are affecting you in your natal astrology, your transiting astrology, that have to do with Uranus and the shifts that are taking place in Aries. Saturn is significant in your chart. Somebody that would be the ruler of Capricorn. You need to look up to see where Capricorn is your chart to see what the emphasis is. Whoa, I've got some incense that is too strong right now. We have the Page of Wands in the hopes and fears. So somebody's hoping that there will be some news that comes in, but that it won't be so small. Maybe you are afraid of some news. Maybe you need to be the one that gives the news, but this looks like somebody is waiting for some news and fearful that the news will be too small, not exciting enough, that it would be just like a little tiny message, almost like as if you're waiting for tax returns, but you're thinking, man, they're going to tell me that I owe them and they don't owe me. And what is the outcome here, Holy Spirit, Holy Angels? There we go. The outcome is the Five of Coins, the Five of Pentacles. So somebody is having a really hard time either with their health or feeling like they just don't make enough money. Again, the Eye of Horus is there, that you need to ask for protection. You could need to ask for protection from your highest power. I say go to Jesus, but of course, it would insert your deity here, your belief system here, but you need to go to the higher power, because this looks very much like a person is trying to hold on to their pentacles, and yet the pentacles here look like water, like money is going right through the fingers, and that maybe money and things that cost money are becoming very expensive at this time, that there isn't enough money. Whoa, and this one popped out. Look at, we have the devil. So we need to beware. This is awful. This is idolatry. We need to be aware that not everything that we need money for should be sought. This would be the card of temptation. This is a card of idolatry. This is a card of worshiping material goods. Now you see that there are no people here like you'd see on the traditional tarot. The traditional art would have a couple of people, but this person's like smack middle in the flaming lake of fire. So this is a card that would advise, okay, somebody could be born in the year of the ox. There is something here about people really needing to pay attention, that there are some things that aren't worth becoming a slave to. I'm going to put that here for the summary where it jumped out. I'd like to get another card because it's pretty damn heavy. All right, that is very heavy there, but I'm glad that they don't have the two people that are loosely chained there, although we know why that happens. Maybe somebody's seeking money and they need more money than they have, but they're being cautioned against greed or needing money to keep up appearances. Maybe this is indicating with a number 15, 5, 1, somebody could be 51, somebody could be 15, this could be about a 2015 issue. This could also be about somebody who is in the 6th year of something, the 15th year of something, and or anniversary of the 15th or the 6th. 2006 could be significant. 2015 could be significant. 51, again, this could be somebody who could be born on the 15th or the 6th of any given month. All right, let's see. Devil energy, definitely Capricorn energy there. One more for the summary. There it is. I'm going to take these two off the top. Wow. We have the death card with the devil. There needs to be an end. Dogs are significant. Anubis is significant. We definitely need to make sure with the major arcana, pardon me, that we understand that cycles are ending, that, chasing money for money's sake is never going to make you happy. Understanding that we have to respect divinity and the spiritual in whatever way it is that we choose, whatever our path is, but we need to remember that we are here in this 3D world and that we are meant to be here. We cannot go floating off into the 5D. We also have the Queen of Wands. So Queen of Wands could be significant. Somebody who wears red is significant. This could be a person who could be a fire sign. So they could have a cat, Cancer, Scorpio. Oh, I almost said Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. No, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Again, with the incense, of course, offering. Somebody needs to make offerings to their ancestors. Lavender is present there. Somebody needs to make sure that they're making offerings to the ancestors. Now, let me see if I can tie this up for you, because it looks like in relationships, it's like we've got some people that are working on their relationships, and then we have some people that don't believe that they'll ever have a relationship. And then we have people that seem to be working on whatever it is they do, their spirituality, they're leveling up, they're walking away, they're leaving the material behind. And that there's some people here that are at serious risk, that if they don't change their ways or stop focusing on money for money's sake, or to keep up with the Joneses, or for the false appearances like we saw with the oracle cards, that there could be some serious consequences here. Sometimes we just have to understand that there's only so much we can do, and that if we don't understand that, not only are you not defined by your house or the kind of car that you drive, my dad would tell you, yeah, and when things go wrong, you can't eat that house and you can't eat that car. All right. If you are so encumbered or you're so in debt, you've got so many credit cards, you've got cars that you can't afford that you don't need anyway, something else is going on, you can find yourself in a situation where the universe is going to ask you to release anyway. Let me see if I could get some of these weird hints over here. I'm not going to take a ton of them because they can get very stressful for me. The month of January is significant. Somebody is a ballet dancer. We got a hairy woman that could be significant. I don't know. Don't spend your money on waxing. Get a freaking razor and do whatever you do if you have hair on your body. I'm one of those hairless types, so maybe that sounds like it's, I've known hairy people. Okay, so some legal issues. Somebody could be in a mental state where there is intent to cause harm. So, there could be legal action where I don't know if this is work related or personally related, where somebody's intent to cause harm comes about because they were doing something to you. Something deliberate that caused an injury to you or caused suffering to you. You can actually take legal action on this. That somebody else could have been especially cruel to you. Somebody needs to go to the dentist, or a dentist is significant, or you could be a dentist. There's a message that's coming in. We saw that here. A narcissist or somebody with narcissistic tendencies could be significant. Someone's husband could be significant, or it could be that the husband tried to harm you or you tried to harm a husband. A married couple pretends to be siblings. I don't know what the fuck that is, but okay. There could be a false marriage. That's why I said I didn't want to get too weird. We got the 357 ratio. All right. For some of you, you are going to understand that somebody is a Mason. There was a Master Mason, is a Master Mason. We've got the 3, 5, 7. 3 is a Master Mason, 5 is a fellow craft, and 7 is an entered apprentice. Okay, so Photoshop could be significant. Some of you could be working there in digital media. There's a cover up here. Somebody's trying to cover something up, or somebody's trying to get something covered up. Somebody wants something covered up. I'm going to put that down here with the Masons, no shade. Okay, somebody's got a septum piercing. I don't know what the hell you call that. To me, it looks like a bull ring. Maybe you think you're a bull. Okay, a dry location could be significant. Somebody could be trying to get to the dry location. You left the dry location. We've got the Egyptology going on here. Dry location. A deep fake is going to go over here with Photoshop. The initial M, somebody with the initial M is highly significant. We're going to put that over here with the Queen of Wands. And wanted you to go down with them. Either somebody wanted you to take a fall for them or with them because they're going down, or they went somewhere and wanted you to go with them and you couldn't go. I don't know. I'm going to put that there with the husband. Dark telepathy is significant. I'm going to put that down here with the Masons because I actually don't have an owl here. And for a New Year's party is significant as well. So that's not giving me what I feel is a whole lot other than some indicators about who you are. And now if you're Harry, I'm sorry. I don't know. Somebody's name could be Harry. If you don't have the money to put more piercings or holes or stickers on your body, well, you probably can't eat those either. I don't know. This 5 of coins look like, money could be tight, for those of you as it relates to relationships. If you don't have a relationship and your money isn't tight, then this probably isn't your segment of the reading. Remember that this can only be general and collective, and that I clearly can't know unless you make an appointment to talk to me whether or not there's something that I could help you with, because you'd have to tell me. If you need help, you're probably watching this for entertainment purposes only. But if you are having a situation in your family, in your life that could be very stressful, because there are changes here. It could look like it relates to health with the cards that we saw. It looks like it could relate to jobs that are changing, ending, or you are doing the leaving, the changing, and the ending of the job. All right, Aquarius, because for the most part, I don't feel like there's anything negative here. It feels like there could be some non-love related energies here. So I'm just going to look at a few things here, just get a couple of oracles to see if we can get an idea about any parting messages to wrap this up for you. I'm glad you didn't have like high drama, because, I've had to Mirandize too many people here. Okay, so somebody's grandparent is significant. And we have, this font is so tiny. Okay, so we have thought. There's definitely an older person who is in deep thought. There's somebody who is a little bit older who is having a hard time right now. No doubt about that. The Romans and the Egyptians. Okay, and let's see. I won't just take it. Let's wait until they pop out. Let's see if there's anything else that you need to know. Again, the color red is significance. something that has to do, sanguineous is significant, the color red. We're going to take both of them because that one is, oh, okay. Somebody is recovering from an illness. I'm going to put this in the past because that's the malady card, but it came out in the reverse. So somebody is still recovering from an illness, some kind of a serious illness, and it has, changed life. Well, of course, that's what happens. You have an injury, an accident, an illness, and your life will change. We have to just keep rolling through it and make adjustments as we go because there's nothing that we can do. And we also have the death card in reverse. Somebody seems to have survived an extremely serious illness. There was a serious health issue. There was something that could have killed a person here, and they freaking survived. Now, for some of you, it could be associated with the head because this man is holding his head. And his head is quite visible and nothing else here in the malady card. Death in reverse. Somebody literally escaped death, cheated death, wasn't meant to die. Look, if you're not meant to die through something this serious, it's because you're supposed to freaking be here. And you've got some great work to do, something you have to do, something you have to learn, something you have to explore, something you have to expound upon, something that you need to do, someone you need to be. I don't know what it is because that is your path, and I don't have all the answers to this. Holy Spirit, why are we talking about this? Cheerfulness. You need to be of good cheer. There is a celebration coming. This reminds me of the Three of Pentacles. And in, excuse me, and in the reverse, we have money. I think that, it's obvious that there are some financial pinches here that have something to do, quite possibly, from some challenges that somebody has had with their health. If it isn't about a health challenge that you've had directly, it could be about somebody else, or you could literally work in health care. All right, let's see. And things are tight at the hospital or wherever you work that's in healthcare. Reunion, you could be getting back together with somebody that I could get woo-woo and say it's about a past life. I don't know that. You could be getting back into contact with somebody that you have lost contact with that, could be of the fairer sex. Okay, or you could be the fairer sex. You could, who cares? Or like flip it, switch it where you need it to be. Let's get a little bit more on this to wrap it up. Holy Spirit, I think you know where I'm going with this, Aquarius. You have to make the best of whatever situation you find yourself in. And I was having a talk about this with one of my own sons who is an Aquarius. That, there's a whole lot that we could bitch and moan about, okay? I think that everybody has become far too soft and complains about shit, that in other countries they would be so glad to switch places with you for the problems that you think you have. And, I hate to have to say this, some people grew up hearing, eat all your food because kids are starving in Africa. And we're like, yes, we know, but we can't do anything about that. How do we get our food to them in Africa? Nobody can help where it is that they were born or what it is that is their lot in life. And I know when I go home, when I pass away, I would like to sit with Jesus and ask a lot of questions if I don't have the understanding immediately upon going there to be with him in his house, because I will dwell in the house of the Lord with him forever. Okay, you have to have that faith. You have to hang on there and stay close to him, but you can't complain about what life has dealt you while at the same time having these first world problems. And I'm not trying to minimize or ameliorate anybody's problems, okay? But trust me, I could tell you that at least here in the United States, you're not going to die of starvation. You're probably going to be relatively safe as long as you're not in Minnesota. Okay, so we also have the doctor in reverse. I'm telling you that somebody is going to recover from this. It's just going to take time. This could be a situation that's going to take time, and that's what needs to be understood, and adjustments will have to be made. For those of you that are struggling from the pinch of something related to finances that relates to some health issue, it will take time. So you're going to have to make changes there to fit this. And we also have, what does that say? Frivolity in reverse. Okay, so maybe you're not feeling like you're having too much fun right now, but you will have fun eventually. You have to wait for this stage to complete. Okay, you can't just take an X-Acto knife and get what do you call it, the pupa. You can't just take that thing and try to free the butterfly before it's time. It'll die. It's not ready. That would be like trying to extract a baby before it's ready. It can't be born until it's ready to be born. Okay. Oh, wow. Didn't know that this deck could get so heavy. Okay, so now we have this card that reminds me of the Tower. We have misfortune, but it was in reverse. This too shall pass, my friend. So let's get a little bit like monkish here and get something like a Shaolin monk. Okay, let's just go full Shaolin monk. We're going to do it. Kung Fu is significant. Somebody used to watch Kung Fu when they were a child. David Carradine is significant. Somebody's name could be David and or Carradine. Let me just get something that could feel like an affirmation for you. Something. Whoa. That didn't work. Okay, I almost wore them. Let's see. Oh, should have taken that one. This one. I choose connection, compassion, and clarity in my relationships. Seek clarity in your relationships, Aquarius. I know that's easier said than done. You know, try to have compassion for each other, for the next person, but don't, you know, take abuse. Don't abuse anybody. Make sure that you're being fair and honest in your dealings and your communications with other people. There's nothing you can do when somebody else, let's say you got to work with some heinous, you know, wench at work or somebody who's just a complete prick face and you got to deal with them at work or whatever you're doing. Or maybe you're married to a prick face or dealing with a prick face. So, like, I'm sorry, you know, you have to communicate these things and you have to make sure that they know how you feel. Because if you don't express yourself, they're never going to understand. You won't be able to work this damn thing out. You know, maybe somebody has to work out some kind of a relationship and, you know, maybe in the face of some illnesses and somebody else is unbalanced and losing their mind. Let's get some. Oh, no, I didn't want that because those are hints, not names. Woo, no, we're not going to do that because then we'll end up with a completely new reading. No. Or we could end up with an old reading. Okay, there's some names here that are a little bit different. So because of the format of the card, I'm going to put them a little bit aside. The name James is significant. The name Suzanne, Susan, Sue, Susie, Susie, Sue. Someone sued. Somebody's going to get sued. Susie and the Banshees. Okay. And let's get this deck and get some names that could be of significance to you. That way I don't, you know, get myself into such curiosity. Curiosity. All right. Somebody's name. Keep going. Just until I feel better about it. Myers, Norwood, Moreno, Coral, Roland, Garcia. First, middle, or last for these. Doreen, Trudy, Miller, Nehemiah, Brooks. Frank has been coming out a lot. Anderson, Chad, Moises, Malik, Fantasia, Bullers, Salas, Gonzalez, Checo, Maria Elena, Schmid, Guerra, Deanna, Stacy, and Jennifer. All right, folks, I'll be talking to you soon. Have a wonderful February. Love you. If you've been ill, I congratulate you because you are definitely going to make an excellent recovery. You're going to be okay financially. Could be a pinch. Love you guys.